Yonder Mountain Adventure. Thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be doing another quick tent review. I've had a lot of people ask us about this particular tent, which I've bought. It hasn't been given by any manufacturer or anything like that. It is the Oex Bobcat 1 budget, real budget, lightweight, waterproof tent. It's a real good bit of kit. I've actually tested this out already. I've had an overnighter in it in heavy sustained rain, and it performed incredibly well. Considering the price, which I'll allude to a little bit later on, you might have seen from the thumbnail what a cracking bit of kit this is. So we're up in the heart of Northumberland. I'm going to pitch it. I'm going to show you a little bit about the tent and get it set up so you can see a little bit about what it's like. The whole idea of this is to prove that you can come out and do some wild camping and enjoy the great outdoors without spending a fortune. Let's have a look. So what do you get with the pack? So obviously you get your bag. This is really good actually. This serves as a dry bag as well, so you can put all your gear in, which is very good. It also has instructions on the inside which shows you exactly how to pitch the tent as well. Not that you'll need it, it's very intuitive. And actually the strap itself, the bag, does have straps, so if you want to and you can't put it in your backpack, you can strap it to it. So you get your bag. It comes with a one pole, the usual aluminium poles. These are the Oex Endura poles. These are pretty strong but flexible as well. So you get one pole, and it's a massive big long one. There's 10 sections to this, and I'll show you why in a minute. You get some basic pegs as well, aluminium pegs, not particularly lightweight ones, but let's not forget the price of this as well. This is a budget bit of kit, so you get your pegs as you would expect. You get your inner, which is here. I've unpacked it, and then of course you've got your fly sheet as well with tensioners. So I'm just going to show you how easy it is to set this thing up and a couple of tips for doing it as well. Now for the price of this, I am mega impressed, really impressed. The Oex gear is notoriously very good, despite the fact that, you know, it's quite cheap, and a lot of people think, you know, you buy it cheap, you have to pay twice. This is good quality gear. So I'm going to get it pitched up and I'll show you along the way. What I particularly like about this one is the inner and the outer are separate, although you can make a mod to get the two combined and stay together. But in actual fact, this one you pitch the outer first, which is great, because if it's lashing down with rain, the last thing you want to be doing is getting your inner pitched up first and then have to faff on putting the fly on. So first things first, let's get this pitched out with the fly on first, as you're meant to, and then we'll get the inner in place. Right guys, so once you've got the pole in place, which is giving you the spine of the tent, the next thing to do, there's eyelets on each of the corners, which you can see just down here next to the Bobcat 1 logo. There's like 3 peg out points, and that'll strengthen up and tauten out the base, and you do that on both sides. That'll give it its structure. Once you've done that, it's just a case of guying out the back to make sure that that's nice and taut, and then guying out the front, which will keep it rigid. It's not going anywhere. One of the top tips I would say for this tent is as well, check your wind direction, because this is very broad-sided. It's very much like a sail. So what I would say is check which way your wind's going and put your spine towards the wind. That way it's much more aerodynamic. Right guys, so as you can see, this is all pitched out. This is a solid structure. That's going absolutely nowhere. And once you've got it pitched it right with the spine leading into the wind, this thing's going nowhere. It's bomb-proof. Massive big doorway, which gives you perfect access. It's relatively low, but you've still got ample height for when you're sitting in it. But of course this big access gives you fantastic space just to get in and out nice and easy. You've got 3 zips on this as well. Now you might wonder why there's 3 zips. It gives you 3 fantastic configurations. You can have it wide open like this. you can have just one flap of a door, or you can just have that little window at the top, so when you're waking up you can see your sunrise and just get a feel for your surroundings, what have you. It's absolutely magic, and it's very, very spacious. I'll just show you how big it is. So guys, once you've got it in place and you're happy with how taut it is, the next thing is to get the inner in place, complete with bug net. So we'll do that now. So the inner itself has got the bathtub itself, I think is a 5,000 or might even be 8,000 static head unit bathtub, which is mega waterproof, and it's got a good ground sheet, and actually the ground sheet fills the whole of the footprint of the tent, which is excellent. And in actual fact, every corner of the inner has got a hook on it, and the hook clasp onto little ringlets which are on the corners of the inside of the tent. And then of course on the top, what you do is to keep it nice and taut and give you all that nice space inside the inner itself, you've got the little toggles which hold it in place, and it gives you a fantastic bit of room. Now in fairness, you don't have to put the inner in. I've had a lot of comments from people who have got this tent, and I thought this the first time that I used it as well. You don't actually need the inner really. In actual fact, it's much more spacious if you don't use it, but of course the weather conditions dictate what you do with that, so it's just something to bear in mind. You can use it just as the outer, exactly as it is, for a nice quick and easy shelter. So it's as easy as that. Once it's all pegged in, the inner's nice and taut as well. You've got a rainbow zip on this as well, which I think is pretty good. I think a lot of people quite like the T-zips, but I like that because that gives you full access, and once it's dropped down you can see along the bottom there, you just roll it in, it's nice and neat, it's completely out the way. And as you can see, the fly sheet is fitted so it covers the whole of your porch area, your vestibule. When this front door's down, it affords you a massive amount of space. If the conditions are bad and you can't cook outside, you've got any amount of room here to cook as well. Absolutely class. Right, so now that the inner's in place and everything's exactly as I wanted, bow tight, let's stick some of the camping gear inside. I'll get my sleep system in and we'll just see exactly what room we've got to play with. Well, there we go. Doesn't take 2 minutes just to get things in. I've got a closed cell foam mat. I've got the new Exped R4 insulated mat, which is very, very good. Tested out for the first time. Actually, the first time I tested this as well. This was a new bit of kit. And the 4-season Leviathan EV900 Oex bag as well, which is absolutely bomb-proof. It's comfort down to -9, I think it'll go down to -15. Anyway, regardless of what it says on the thing, it's an unbelievable bag. But as you can see, even with a full winter setup there, there's absolutely loads of room, loads of headroom. I think the only thing that I would like to see with this is a lantern hanging point, but in actual fact, it's not a massive deal because I've just created a little bit of a mod. I'll show you that. So what I've done there, guys, is the toggle that holds the inner to the fly, I've took it out, looped the flex tail gear around it, and put it back into place. Now, that's given us a good lantern hanging point. So that's me, full stretch. I'm 6 foot. Yeah, I mean, you could get yourself into a slightly better, that's probably a little bit better there. I've still got some room at the top of my head. I've got room down at my feet a little bit. And there is plenty of room in the vestibule because it's massive for you to put your backpack and your cook gear and all the rest of it as well. There's absolutely, for a one-man tent, this is actually surprisingly spacious. And with that lantern hanging mod on the top as well, it makes a massive difference. Really, really good. Yeah, so I tried this out for the first time on an overnighter, and it was lashing down with rain. It was constant through the night, and there was winds of about 20-25 mile an hour, and quite an exposed place just up in Northumberland. And this thing didn't move. It was absolutely unbelievable. In fact, I was that warm, I ended up opening up the fly, up the inner, and just leaving it with that door open. And I actually took myself out of the bag as well at one point because it was too warm. There was everything seam sealed in here. There was no water ingress whatsoever, and because there's loads of ventilation There was no condensation either. Absolutely brilliant night. Well, there we go. As you can see, for a one-man tent, this is actually very, very spacious. And even when you're enclosed and the door's shut, it's not claustrophobic at all. And like I say, you know, when you consider the price, which I'll come on to in a second, the waterproofing that you get from this, it's all seam sealed. It's absolutely bomb-proof. It's probably one of the sturdier tents that I've got and have seen, in all fairness. It's absolutely, it's top-notch. I bought this myself. This wasn't given to us. And I got this from Go Outdoors. Now, Go Outdoors have got these retailing at the moment at £49, which is a fantastic price for a very good 3-season tent, that's for sure. I would use this 4 seasons in all fairness, if you've got the right gear to keep you warm inside. 49 quid. You really don't have to spend the fortunes on tents to get out and enjoy the wilderness. Go Outdoors have got a habit when you ring things through the till with your discount card, sometimes things go a little bit haywire. I ended up paying £35 for this. So I don't know if that was just a mistake or whether it was an extra promotion or whatever the case may be. But 35 quid, absolute bargain. Regardless of that £49, absolute bargain. This is a real solid bit of kit. So folks, that brings us to the end of the review. I would definitely recommend this one, 100%. If I was to score it out of 10, I would probably give this an 8, maybe even an 8.5. I just think for the value, you know, the amount of the bang for your buck, it's absolutely top notch. And I know that this can stand up to some of the serious weathers that the UK climate can throw at you. It's a solid bit of kit. So I'm going to, yeah, I'll give it an 8.5, and that's backed up with the value of it as well. Well folks, that brings me to the end. So all I'm going to do now, I've got the Ethenol burner. I'm just going to knock myself up a hot chocolate this time and just soak up the sights and sounds of the forest. The colours are beautiful in Northumberland. We're well into autumn now. In fact, we're coming up to November, so the colours are beautiful and there's a nice feel here as well. So I'm just going to chill out, get myself a hot chocolate, spend a couple of hours just relaxing, pack away, and then head back home. So as always, folks, thanks very much for coming along. I do appreciate watching. If you've come this far, well done. As always, you know the drill. It's mega important, especially coming up to, you know, the stresses with Christmas coming up and all the rest of it. Everyone's got busy lives. Forget about your social media, your Facebook, watching the news, the radio, newspapers, all of that type of stuff. It's just very, very much scaremongering. It's doom and gloom. Get out and enjoy, you know, the peace and quiet of beautiful places like this and soak up some prescription nature. So until next time, folks, I'll leave you with that. We'll catch you on the next Yonder Mountain Adventure. The next one will be an adventure as well. I've got some time off work. I'm going to be heading up and doing Ben Nevis, and I've actually just managed to snag 5 days in Spain for an absolute bargain. Check out my Instagram as well, Yonder Mountain Adventures. I've got more content on there as well. Do follow. Feel free to send a DM if you've got any questions about any of the videos, any of the gear, or any of the places that I'm going as well. So, all the best, guys. Catch you on the next one. All the magnolias bloom. Gold in this house, and I ain't going out to chop wood. So cover me up and know you're enough to use me for